Been so long, I cut off the intro music almost, man. Welcome back to another episode of Around the Clock Podcast. I'm your host, Dom. Alongside me is my host, Brandon the Entertainer. We got a new face on the show, my guy, Jarvis. Jarvis, a.k.a., can we say your last name? Some people, the internet be searching people. Jarvis Jones, man, welcome to the show. He's going to be a new face that's joining the Around the Clock team, man. We're excited to have him. As always, this episode is brought to you by Ken Seltzer, for the folks, by the folks. Beautiful drink, lovely drink. We're sipping on that pressure strawberry lemonade right now. Shout out to my guy Josh for dropping off a couple cases. Been a minute, but let's get to it, man. Let's just get straight to it. You know, also shouts out to Foreplay. I got a lot of outside sponsorships. I apologize. Use code DOMF15 for 15% off your order. Forgot to tell you about that. My bad. But yeah, man, it's been a minute. We're in week 4 of the NFL season. We got a lot going on in Kansas City, man. The Royals made it to October. Where you boys want to get started at? I mean, we got 2 KC hats on right now.
Might as well get started to that.
I think I'll start it off, man. Shouts out to the Royals, number one. But I'll be the first to tell you that I don't think anybody in the city expected this, and I don't think anybody in the city really cared that much about it, as much as they should have compared to 2014, 2015. But y'all the baseball gurus, so I'm gonna let y'all take off with it.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think it's because of, I mean, we'll get to their actual play here in a minute, but I think putting the guys out there, the recognition that they don't have that they deserve is kind of a problem, and I think that's because of how people are in the Kansas City area are forced to watch the games, and that has become an issue, I believe, and because baseball this day and age is baseball. You know, you have to, especially when you have a good team, you got to pull in the, I don't know, how would you call it, the average fans or the below average fans, I guess you could say. And I'm sorry, but there's a lot more below average fans, honestly, in every baseball city, really. And especially when your team is only making the playoffs every so often. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to pull in those people, but they're not going to buy a $20 app. They're not going to do it to watch the game.
Not going to do
They're not, like,
if I'm not at a bar, I'm not watching the
right.
Royals.
If they were on Fox like they were back in the day,
right,
you would have a lot more hype, a lot more momentum going into this playoffs on a fan basis part of it. But shout out to the guys because they are doing it without all that.
And I mean, kind of to piggyback off that just a little bit. I mean, first things first. This team lost 106 games last year.
Yeah.
106 games. So even that fan that is like me, that I'm locked in, I'm tapped in, I'm a little hesitant coming into the season, right? I mean, it's money that's spent. You know, people got families. It's just a lot of different reasoning. So you want to go into another reason that was a hot buzz topic of this city, pretty much like how Don was kind of saying this city wasn't really given the credit of it. I mean, we had a pretty important vote about the stadium and where that stadium goes. Yeah. A lot of people were displeased about that. Yeah. And I think a lot of the people's displeasure with how that vote went, however you feel about it, I think it spilled over into, well, I never cared about the Royals anyway. Yeah. Like, I don't want to go out there and see that. So it was just like, hey, they're bad. Why should I vote for them? Why should all of these different things all got expressed before this season started? Yeah. So if we get into that play, we want to talk about how the boys play. Like, the boys are playing some ball, right?
Yeah.
I think,
one up right now.
It's been the motivation in my mind as a fan. Like, that's what I'm using in my brain of, these boys are motivated from, they heard all of the, the press clippings, everything that you kind of hear going from the city themselves about they don't want you here or whatever the case. I think that's extra motivation to be like, we belong here. I know there's a team across the street who's maybe the best to ever do it even. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not just a really good team that you got to outshine. Maybe one of the best teams ever to do it. Yeah. And we're here too. This is our city. We want our place back in the city. 2014. I mean,
and they're doing it. And the crazy thing about it is, I mean, we've seen it. We saw it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10, 11 years aago, how a city can really
get behind a team.
Get behind a team.
That's what kicked it all off.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and we saw it. We saw like how, because really at that time the Chiefs weren't getting that momentum yet either.
Andy Reid was just getting in here, getting things going.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And so like we saw
it was the
like
Alex Smith can't finish stuff. So it was like, well, shit, the Royals are taking off right now. Like we might as well support them. Iron Light was on fire. Every bar was on fire. I mean, it was crazy.
Y'all remember before that, we was all sitting there thinking like, I mean, is Kansas City really even that big of a sports town? Like, is it? And then the Royals are really Sporting KC happens. Then the Royals happen. Yeah. And then we start getting rumors about possibly getting a basketball team here now. But I mean, saying that's how much hype you can have it. But the people have to see it.
They got to see it. And you got to win, unfortunately, man.
Got to win.
That's how unfortunate the Kansas City fan base is. They are much, what have you done for me lately? And I talked to maybe go towards the Chiefs or even the Royals. Like we got a lot of friends in that group chat. They're in Houston, and Houston's doing well now. And now
not anymore.
Now everybody hates the Chiefs, But I'm like, y'all don't realize like we've been where y'all at. We was below where y'all was at. Like y'all was beating us, leading into wild card games. Like y'all, we were the scum of the AFC West for a good 10-year run. I mean, we had some great players, but we could never put it together. But like you said, with the Sporting Kansas City, even with
KC Current,
I don't even remember 10 years ago with the World Cup. Like how much this city supported the World Cup when the women and the men were making it far in there. Like there were thousands of people at Power and Light every single game. Right. So I mean, I love it. It's funny. I was talking with a guy the other day after we got done playing golf, and he was like, "Man, the Royals might make the playoffs," and like it's not being talked about enough. Man. Like your team making the post. Like the Chiefs are expected to make the postseason every year from here on to the end of time. The Royals were not expected to do that, so it's like, why is there not? And maybe it is the Bally's thing. Nobody watches. Nobody knows.
I think that has, and
I'll never understand that. I would never understand that.
That has, in my opinion, the biggest to do with it. And because I don't know, I can't think of another reason why the feeling in Kansas City around the Royals making the playoffs, and it could be honestly, if in a true baseball fans world, we are a good team. Like 2014, 2015, we were different. We were built different. There was something I was a huge small ball fan. Like, and that's how
the Royals are trying to run it over right now.
We're like and like we were doing things that was kind of going against the grain because everybody started going into the launch angle hitting and all that stuff, right. and like the power swings, like really get those balls out of the park, and we were kind of not doing that at all. Not at all. We were focusing on pitching and really focusing have that defense, speed, and honestly historical bullpen. I think probably the greatest bullpen of all. Like I personally
say it.
Greatest bullpen. say it. It's the greatest bullpen of all time.
Talk your shit.
In my opinion. But it was different. And so yes, it was different. And I look at this team right now. I'm like, our starting pitching is good, and we got really, and I say 3 or 4 good hitters.
This team, this team is the 2000 and about 12. No, but like even compared to the Chiefs, like when did we get George Kalafdis? That was what 2022. So this is the 2022 draft. Uh-huh. It wasn't sexy on paper. On paper, it was good, but it just wasn't sexy, and that's what this team is right now.
Yeah,
like they can get it done. They're just not. They're not flashy. You got a couple vets on there, and I think this is really setting the recipe for what's to come. Hopefully, we talked about it a little bit on the phone. It's like, okay, now you got free agents. Like, okay, this team can do it again. They got a solid city and stadium that's in the future. We'll worry about that later, but we have an opportunity to win one.
Yeah, and I think that just kind of goes back to. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm a huge Royals fan. So with the change of the ownership, John Sherman. I mean, first thing out of his mouth when he got here, I want a new stadium.
Yeah, I'm moving regardless.
I want a new stadium.
Like, we'll put that to
the side. Now he's like, I came from winning. I know this town is used to, hey, we got an ALCS. We made 7th game of the World Series, lost, come back next year, win it. But I want a playoff team every year. Yeah. I want a wild card team. This city needs to know what that's like to where, hey, we may not win it every year, but every year we're in it.
Great.
And we're contending. And I think that's what you see now, kind of on its first go around of spending money. We spent over $100 million this year in free agency, signed Bobby Witt Jr. That's just never happened here before. Carlos Beltran out of here.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a premier superstar. No offense to the guys who got it done before us, but Bobby Witt Jr., he's in that upper echelon.
He's a different
George
breed.
Brett, if you want to put Salvador Perez there, but we're talking about Hall of Fame talent players like a Carlos Beltran. We had guys like that, and we were basically, what do you call it, the minor leagues for whatever contending team.
Get you an opportunity to show your worth, and then you go get paid somewhere.
And go get paid somewhere. Yeah. So Bobby Witt Jr. kind of, to me, signifies like if you want to put a big flag stamp of like, hey, they're committing to a team like that, and he's the number 2 pick in this draft. Like every accolade you could ask for, he's the guy that you got to do that with, and hopefully with how good he is, more fans come.
And what's crazy about Bobby Witt, before you go, he still ain't as well known in Kansas City as he should be.
As he should be,
bro. My old lady, we were downtown at First Fridays, and she went inside Ray Gun. And Ray Gun, I don't know if you've ever been to Ray. It's a clothing store on the Crossroads. They got a ton of like one-off Chiefs, Royals, all sorts of shirts. Mm-hmm. And she kept walking up. She walked up to me. She was like, "Is this Bobby? Who's this Witt guy? Is he a big?" I was like, "Who? You don't know who Bobby Witt Jr. is? Like, are you kidding me right now?" It's crazy, I'm like, and I get it. She don't watch sports, but it's like, you know who Patrick Mahomes is, right? Like, he is the Patrick Mahomes of baseball right now.
And the parallels there are crazy.
Like it really is. Like, basically came in around the same time. Like,
well, even take it a step further. His dad played in the league.
Yeah,
like he's coming from the clubhouse mentality. A lot of just the parallels are similar of what type of player they are.
Yeah,
what type of player Patrick Mahomes, former baseball player, he plays shortstop. Well, we got the greatest shortstop on earth right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where hopefully MLB can get stuff sorted out where how you can watch a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not so much a Royals thing, but it's every fan across the country has the same problem. I can't watch my team.
It's an MLB thing. And we even talked about it just in general about, I think we talked about it a while ago, just with like Bobby Witt Jr., for instance. The MLB doesn't do a very good job of propping up their best players. They really don't. Like, you got Shohei, but even then, he's just because he's who he is, the 50-50 club.
Global.
Everybody knows him.
Yeah, it's global.
But like, you're not propping up even your guys just a step below. Bobby Witt, dude out of, what's his name? And he's not a freak, but he's a flashy player. He plays for the Pittsburgh. What's his name?
O'Neal Cruz?
Yeah, Cruz.
Okay.
I feel like they don't prop him up enough. I mean, I feel like they didn't even prop up, some of the guys like Trout and them back in the day. You just knew them because you watched baseball. Yeah. So I think that's a problem they have to figure out as well.
But they used to be good at it.
Yeah.
Like, there was not a person in the 90s that didn't know who King Griffey Jr. was.
Right. Yeah. King Griffey Jr., Mark McGwire,
Sammy Sosa. You could put, honestly, King Griffey Jr. up against some of the most famous people in the world in the 90s at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but for some, I don't know if it was just King Griffey Jr. or if that was just.
I think it was a storyline. It was a storyline too, though.
I'll take it a step further. Nike was behind King Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
he had the shoes, he had the cleats. You wanted to get him if you play baseball, those types of things. Not a lot of that in baseball today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just that signature shoe. I've been kind of pushing forward on my Twitter about Bobby Witt Jr. He's a Under Armour athlete. Why next season there's no reason he doesn't have a signature cleat. There should be no reason for it. Like, all the way around. So just some of those things, I think. I mean, the player has to kind of do it, but Major League Baseball really needs to kind of. I don't know what they got to do, but they need to do it.
And you got the most money damn near out of anybody. Like, there's not a lack of funds. This is a reason behind you can't get behind these dudes.
No, baseball for a while now, and sometimes it's the player themselves. Like, for a few years ago, Trout was the hottest thing before Ohtani. He was the hottest thing in the world.
They were on the same team,
and they was on the same team. And but I don't know if everybody knew this, but like, Trout didn't even want to do anything. Right. Like, he didn't go out. He lived in L.A. He didn't want to go out. He didn't want to like do nothing. He just kind of played ball, and that was it.
Yeah.
And they just the marketing in baseball, they definitely have a problem. And I think, and we touched on this, like, just talking, and see how you feel about this. But I truly feel like, and I don't think it's just baseball. I think it's a lot of sports. Like, I have no reason why Ohtani isn't the most popular athlete in America right now. With everything that he can do, there's nobody in any other sport that's doing anything close to what he's doing right now. But I feel like it's just the fact
because he's not
foreign.
American. Well, bro,
he's foreign. So he can't speak a whole lot of English. I hate to kind of put that language barrier.
But
is something
can
that's
speak English. They make it seem like he can't talk at all.
That was just when he was in trouble.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, I think just kind of maybe easing him into that a little bit is probably something that it's just going to be. And I think that's really kind of the MLB thing with the huge Latin presence.
Because I don't know if y'all saw the stat, and I can't think of it word for word off the top of my head, but it was like Shohei, they're basically saying there was no player that's ever done X amount of hits, X amount of RBIs, X amount of whatever. It was like 5 things ever in the history of MLB. He did it all in one game.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm like, dog, like
6 for 6, 10 RBIs.
Yeah, I'm like, bro,
all these home runs,
he's on a historic run.
But to me, it's
and
like,
that ball's gonna go. God, that's crazy.
I just feel like
Like
the
1.2
marketing.
yeah.
I just feel like the marketing there is not even where it should be, man. Like put him out in front of everybody. Like people, yes, know who they've heard of him.
But he's like you said, like Mike Trout. He don't want to be, bro. They didn't. His teammates didn't even know he was married.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
You know, like you know what I'm saying. Like he just doesn't.
Yeah.
He's to himself and he plays ball and he's
You
very
can't play
very good at it.
baseball in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Mike Trout
and
did.
not want to be.
Did you know Mike
famous.
Trout's got a golf course coming with Tiger Woods?
No.
I think in Nebraska or wherever he's from, Iowa, Nebraska. I feel like he's somewhere from there.
Mike Trout?
Yeah.
Mike Trout, I think, is from New Jersey.
So it's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's wherever
Mike
he's
Trout
from.
Mike Trout is
Yeah.
from New
Him and
Jersey.
Tiger have a course coming out that Tiger's going to design in New Jersey, apparently. But yeah, man, what else? Speaking of just Kansas City, man, I would like to hit on Kansas City being the most hated team in America right now.
That's a fact.
Like there are, I don't know if you saw Gary said, there's a page dedicated to Chiefs hate, and they got like 10,000 followers. It's like every little thing as if like other teams don't get these same calls that we get. And there's one thing I mentioned it when I was on a different podcast this week with James or whatever, but the biggest thing I hate, especially right now with the Chiefs, is the whole referee thing. But what I hate the most is when I hear you can't make that call in a close game. I think that's the time you need to make calls. If there's any point where a referee should be doing his job, it is when the game is tight. That is when to me, that's when I feel like you have to make those calls. Like I get if it's close, but like just like 2 weeks prior, that Rashee Rice pass, like that was very clear passing. And now the Atlanta game, did they miss that? Absolutely. But another thing people don't realize is that refs are watching this in real time. We are not. We're watching it from several different angles. He's watching 22 men on the field right now, and he's trying to pay attention to one thing. Like they're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
They're gonna. But I just hate this notion that the refs suddenly work for the Chiefs.
I got one little, I don't want to call it pushback, but just one thing to kind of add on to that. It very much for me depends on how they've been calling that game prior to. I don't want, hey, you've been letting Jalen Watson push and pull, hand fight all game, and then now in the fourth quarter it matters. You want to call it. Like
I get that.
Now that's a major adjustment the players got to make on the fly when the game matters most.
That's
to
fair.
me that's just weird, I guess you could say. But other than that, I completely agree.
Dude, Jawan is called 5 fucking times a game, and then you'll see one player like, look how offsides he. But I'm like, he gets called weekly. Weekly, he is either lining up in the wrong zone or he is offsides.
Right.
He is early a lot of the times, and I'm like, damn, that's gonna get called, and it just happens. But you got to play better ball. I don't think you can rely on one. I've always thought this as an athlete. One call shouldn't dictate a game, and if it does, you should have played better, in my opinion. Like if we're talking about this, one call is what the reason why we lost the game, then we should have been playing better throughout the whole game. It shouldn't come down to 1 point, one play, whatever. That's just my opinion on it. But I do think a lot of people hate the Chiefs.
But that's just.
And it's a good thing, man. This is what the Patriots had, man. But I'll tell everybody this: we are where we deserve to be. Like we struggled for a very long time. We had a taste of it with Alex Smith. Alex Smith was a great quarterback. I loved Alex Smith. I never hated him. A lot of people hated when we got him. He just couldn't get over that hump, and that's fine. Okay. But it was one of those things. But it was like we got a taste every year. Not even a taste, really. I mean, getting out of the wild card, losing at home is not even a taste. Let's be honest. Like we got punched in the mouth every year over year. Then we got Patrick Himothy Mahomes.
Is that his
quarterback? Jesus.
Yeah.
That his middle name?
Yeah, Patrick Himothy Mahomes. The second now, or is he a junior? I don't know. He one of them things. And it's just been glory days from here on out. Like we're a playoff team. I don't even care about the regular season. And I watch the game. I'll talk to fans sometimes, and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah." Like right now, it's like we're 4-0, but it's I don't care. I don't care. Like, I want to see what Andy Reid's going to dial up in the postseason because Andy Reid is never going to open up that playbook. He just doesn't do it. And the one thing I will say that I've seen that Andy Reid has stopped doing this season, though, I haven't seen a screenplay all year.
No.
He was whipping those out a lot over the last 5-6 seasons. That was like his go-to. Now, there was one to Travis last week.
I feel like he just broke out the little shovel pass up the middle of Kareem.
Yeah.
That just happened week 4. So, yeah.
And I had Carson Steele on my team and fumbled the ball and never got back in the game.
So we're in week 4 right now.
Ain't that a bitch?
We're in week 4. Do y'all feel like the Chiefs are struggling?
Struggling.
I think that we are not.
There are some struggles.
Yeah, I think.
I don't think it's on defense side of the ball.
No, not at all.
But I think, but what I'm seeing right now is what I've been calling out on Pat his entire career. He plays a little too much backyard football, in my opinion, and I think the Chiefs have allowed him to get away with that. The way that I see it sometimes, and especially this season, some of his decision-making skills have been a little. The ball has been a little off. You know, he's been a little short-handed. He's been underhanded some stuff, and then obviously the injuries are going to continue to affect the team, especially losing Rashee Rice. I mean, he was about to have a breakout sophomore year.
I got a couple of things I don't want to move too far away from it before we really dive in. I thought something was really funny. You had talked about, hey, the refs, the Chiefs get these calls, and everything like that. I saw on Twitter someone posted, if Rashee Rice's knee ends up being okay, fans are going to say God has been cheating for the Chiefs to uninjure his knee.
And I will say, I do find it a little curious that like they haven't just flat out come out and said what's going on.
Oh, well,
the fact that he's getting several opinions like leads me to believe that they think that he might be able to come back and play at some point this season.
I heard Monday is when we find out. I guess some people may know by Friday.
I mean, I watched the play. And then for your quarterback to do that to you too, man.
Well, listen,
Patrick's decision making has been absurd.
Yeah,
right. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's not an ACL because they would have said if his ACL was torn, they would have said torn
right.
ACL.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be
Monday morning. We would have known.
He obviously hyperextended something,
right?
You know, and we'll see. But I mean, I think obviously the defense is doing what they need to do. I think the offense has a little bit of struggles. I think obviously we're seeing. I will never say the demise or the slow downfall of Travis Kelce. I just think maybe he's off to a rough start this season. I mean, I'm never going to count a guy out that went 9 straight seasons with 1,000 yards, you know, and came up short last year because he sat out a game and missed the season opener. So I don't believe that notion either. I see that a lot by Stephen A. Smith, all these analysts and these distractions, and I'm like, I've known Travis since he came to Kansas City, like on a personal level. He's been distracted his whole career. Right. And he's gone out and balled out, fucking catching Kelce shit. He's been doing all sorts of shit, like running a podcast. Like I'm not concerned with that. And I think he'll show up when he needs to show up. Am I concerned? No, because we're 4-0. Like I'll never be that concerned when we're 4-0. Now I do think that the Chiefs might need a gut punch here pretty soon to get some things figured out, but I'm not hitting the panic button yet. It's too early in the season, man. We're in week 4. We are seeing a lot, though, out of other teams that are surprising me, too, though. I mean, that's something we can also hit on.
So I thought you said something that's funny. I think that this might lead to our first in-show debate because I am on the opposite side of your Patrick Mahomes take.
Oh, really?
I am all the way on the other side. I don't think he plays enough backyard football. I think he's become a little bit too structured, a little bit too hesitant on what he's doing, trying to stay in the pocket. Decision making hasn't been the best.
No.
But I think honestly his best decisions come outside the pocket. And I think that's something the Chiefs should try to do a little bit more is get him out of the pocket.
I mean, he's definitely not. It doesn't seem like he's progressing through his reads. It seems like he is very much going to one guy. And that's where he's throwing the ball.
He doesn't trust the left tackle situation.
Yeah.
I mean, nor should he. Yeah. I think it's going to take time if they're going to keep Wanya there.
Yeah.
But I think a sudden change like that, obviously end game, fourth quarter, you're changing your left tackle. Got to win that game. But it's just something where you can see the lack of trust there. It's like, do I scramble? Do I step up? I think he's getting a lot of clean pockets, obviously, with our 3 interior linemen where he can step up. He's just not doing it. If you're going to stay in the pocket like that, you got to step up in that pocket. Tom Brady, every pocket passer you've known, they get their shit off by stepping up into the pocket.
Yeah. Facts.
Now, if he's going to do that, he got to make that adjustment. Otherwise, we need to see Patrick Mahomes get out on that run and throw those darts where the decision making is maybe half the field, and you got something a little bit easier for him. But
a lot of that came from Travis Kelce too, though, and we're not seeing that really.
True.
I don't know if it's like they said he's been triple covered, and so then his second options aren't there, and I think he just lost a really big safety blanket. So come Monday night, it's going to be really interesting to see how this game progresses. I mean, because
it's a Monday night game.
Yeah. Monday night
so
football.
Rashee Rice was your safety blanket after kind of Travis Kelce wasn't, and now it's either Travis is going to come back and shine or.
Hey, what about some of these rumors? I've heard 2 rumors.
Okay,
they're far-fetched rumors.
Okay,
but I heard 2.
They're probably bullshit, but let's hear it.
Getting Tony off the couch.
No.
I thought it in my head.
What about this other rumor?
The hill that I'm gonna die on is that I really, and you might disagree with me, a lot of Chiefs fans, and I'm an idiot, but I want Justin Ross on this team. I want Ross on this football team. I think that he just don't either know the offense or something, because he is an athlete. It doesn't make sense why it didn't work out.
Why do you want him in nobody else wants him?
I don't know, man.
Everybody on the staff wants him.
I just don't know what it is.
Nobody ain't fighting for him, at least.
But me.
Well, first things first, can't be any worse than Sky Moore right now.
Yeah.
He's not playing his best football.
He's never played his best football.
In those situations, yeah, why not see Justin Ross, Remigio,
yeah,
I mean, you name it. Kadarius Toney would be hilarious. I honestly, I felt like he probably should have been the choice over Sky Moore. And then if Toney fails, then you get a Justin Ross, or you make your trade, or whatever.
I think it's a lot of the whole with Toney was just the dude don't play. Like he's never
still
available.
ain't played.
He's never available.
He still ain't played.
I mean, he is. I think his career in 3 seasons, he's got like 600 yards. You know, like he can return. I mean, he's flashy as ever, but also the thing with the Chiefs that have always bothered me is that I don't get why we never like. Rashee Rice, I thought he was blossoming to a number 1 receiver, but even then he wasn't your traditional number 1 receiver. Right. And it's an Andy Reid thing where it's like, bro, go out and get a big body. Like, get somebody for Pat, bro. And Andy Reid is just never known for doing that. We've talked about it before. The whole T.O. thing when Philly was like a fluke. Like, that's just not his bag. His bag is Deshaun Watson.
That goes into the other rumor. Early trade deadline rumor. Devontae Adams. You heard that?
See, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's several ways you can go about it. I kind of want to address it because I think it kind of
he needs a quarterback.
So
he wants to win.
I think hot take, maybe not so hot take. Patrick really don't make those throws, the big body throws. I mean,
I think he would.
It's more of a separation based offense. So it's like he got to see that separation more or less. He trusts Travis Kelce, so he will make that throw.
Yeah, fair.
He trusts Travis Kelce to make that throw, but everyone else, even the wide receiver, you don't really see Patrick Mahomes make a lot of boundary throws.
No.
Justin Watson a little bit, but you don't see back shoulder is not in our offense. Ironically enough, the only touchdown Sky Moore has ever scored in anything was a back shoulder throw, and it looked beautiful.
He's been dumping it off to Worthy too.
Yeah, in those types of things, but I think it's just Pat.
Yeah. Maybe
when people get into the GOAT debates or who's the best doing it right now, where I am always hesitant, Pat is a winner and he gets it done the way he gets it done. And not a lot of people in the history of the game could ever do it the way Pat does it. But when you have examples like a Aaron Rodgers who can put the ball anywhere, back shoulder, front shoulder, wherever it is, not to say he couldn't do it, but I've not seen Pat have that in his bag.
That's fair.
And that's just one of those things where maybe he doesn't, so we steer our offense more towards this guy. So I don't know that a Devontae Adams would be the greatest. I mean,
at this point, I would take it.
I would look at it. I know this is some wild shit that kind of Nick Wright was throwing out there or whatever, but Tyreek Hill makes way more sense. If you're gonna pay that premium price for a Devontae Adams, where the Raiders are gonna make you overpay. You gotta pay him,
and you gotta compensate that contract, too.
Right? Everything like that. Then you might as well go for someone who knows your offense and runs
your quarterback
it
knows already.
If you're gonna overpay, because you're gonna overpay for whoever you have to get.
I don't think you need a Worthy and a Tyreek Hill at this point.
Absolutely.
Yes, you do.
I think what Worthy has shown.
There's a reason why Andy Reid continues to draft Worthy, McCole. Now I get the whole McCole Harmon
Hollywood
thing.
Brown. That's the one that hurts.
Bro,
Hollywood not being there. That's the one.
Devontae Adams brings a whole different level. One of leadership, a way he prepares. I watched that dude on wide receiver. I'm like, this dude he has like that Mamba mentality type stuff.
Like I'm not gonna take him on my team.
That dude, all he needs, he is a quarterback just away. It's just honestly. He's really doing the same kind of path that like Randy Moss did. He even went to the Raiders and it just sucked it up. Go back with the Hall of Fame wide receiver, or go back with the Hall of Fame quarterback, and watch him go off again. I promise you, man. Once I heard that rumor, I was like, bro, if he gets with Patrick Mahomes,
it's one of those things where it's like, A, do the Raiders trade within the division, and B, the Chiefs don't have the cap space. Like, we don't have the cap space. Like, we don't have the money to even restructure Pat again to bring in Adams.
You can restructure Jawan Taylor, maybe someone else. You can massage that cap. From what I understand, Tyreek Hill's cap hit is actually a little bit less. That's why I say that, but you might have to give up more with draft picks. But to me, I think that's just a better fit. If you're going to overpay for someone in the league, I'd rather it be a Tyreek Hill than a Devontae Adams, just because the familiarity and
he fits within the offense. He does fit within the offense a little bit better.
Right. I just don't feel like he does. I don't feel like he does. I don't feel like.
I mean,
I feel like the league is taking. Like, there's so many too high safeties being played. The league is taking that.
But the league hasn't taken outside of losing Tua. The league hasn't taken Tyreek Hill out of the game.
Imagine.
Did you not see him week 1?
Imagine with Tua.
That's what I'm saying.
You take Tyreek out by getting rid of Tua. Like,
imagine though if you had Xavier Worthy. He's running those deep routes, like MVS. Think about it. Out there exercising. Not saying that Xavier Worthy will do that, but he's going to run those routes. Take the top off, and then you got Tyreek Hill running every route that Rashee Rice ran, but better.
It's ugly.
Think about the yak yards that Rashee Rice gets now. Yeah. He had 200. I guess he didn't have a catch in the game or anything like that. So he had 200 yards of yak coming into the
Tyreek Hill needs a yard of separation to get the ball. Yeah, and he's gonna pick it up.
Listen, if they get a premium wide receiver,
that's Tyreek Hill.
If either Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams, it's filthy no matter way you look at it, because what I'm projecting is Rashee Rice coming back sometime towards the end of the year. Yeah. You have Worthy, Rice, Adams, or Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and Juju. At the end of the day,
in theory, it all sounds good, but I've yet to see Veach go out and get a big name. I've yet to see it.
But he has gone out and gotten someone. I was talking to someone about this earlier. Like, we're in the midst of a three-peat, brother. So any of them rules that we thought we had, where like Brett Veach is the best GM, so we're gonna get younger, we're gonna conserve draft picks. To me, that shit is out the window this year.
He's hurt.
I think he comes back. I think he comes back around Christmas.
They said the injury he had, they basically had to crack his sternum to fix it. So he's done.
He's done. Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe playoffs.
No Christmas.
So who had the same? Somebody had the same injury. I forgot who it was.
Tyreek Hill had the exact same injury in Jacksonville.
Yeah. But he didn't miss as much time though.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's what they thought Hollywood was going to. They went out, saw a specialist, same type shit Rashee Rice is on, and they determined that he needed to have surgery. At that point, the surgery puts him out, and they said first thing I saw was 12 to 15 weeks. From the time that surgery happened, 12 to 15 weeks was, I think, this December 11th.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be the time, but I mean, dude seems like he's not coming back. He's like, I'm gonna work to come back, even if that means like I'm gonna come back for the playoffs, because that'll put him way past his timetable. It's just, can he? I guess he's putting it as like, I'm gonna be fresh when I come back.
Right now, is that 10 games in a row?
Yeah, 10 games in a row.
Last year?
Yeah, 10 games in a row.
Regular season or postseason?
No, just from the last win.
Our last loss was December 25th.
Christmas.
So I think that's 10 games in a row.
Yeah, so we're 4 weeks in, and then we won four in the playoffs, and the last two. So so I was saying the Chiefs haven't lost in almost a year. Coming up 2 months, which is crazy.
So if your team don't got a 10-game winning streak, I don't need you to say anything.
Which I don't know why. And Gary keeps sharing these stats that I'm like, what am I looking at here? Like the whole since last year in the regular season, Brock Purdy and Pat got the same record, and Brock Purdy has more. But I don't care about that. Like,
none of it.
Does Brock Purdy have a Super Bowl ring? I don't think so. Like, nobody, like, that's the thing when I see, I'm like, nobody remembers the loser, and nobody remembers the comparison of just this guy being equal in stats when you fucking lost the biggest game of the year. Like, nobody cares. Any surprises for y'all in the season? I think also, speaking of injuries, just in general, there's a lot of injuries across the league. I feel like that I've seen more of than we saw last year. Like, a lot of bigger names, right? Obviously, the Christian I don't even know. Is Christian McCaffrey going to play football this year?
He got double.
Like, dude went to Germany, and now you got double Achilles tendonitis. Yeah. Like, bro, I'm like, what? Like, obviously, in my opinion, the 49ers had to have known about this issue. There's no way that a guy has this type of injury and you're just unaware of it.
Well, they said the double came from he was overcompensating on the other one, and it caused the same injury in the other one. But it just I'm with you.
Just like when Sherman came in and he was like, "Oh, I knew on Friday I was gonna play." Then he got mad about it. You knew something. Like tampering to its finest,
right?
Like and then obviously you got AJ Brown that's been out, you got Mixon that's been out, you got a lot of guys that have obviously Tua. Who knows if he'll ever come back?
I mean, I guess it goes back to
Tua's coming back.
Did they? Unfortunately, he's coming back.
It's probably not the smartest decision.
It's probably not up there on the decisions.
Yeah,
but
no.
Well,
I mean,
ain't thinking. He ain't got hit.
He ain't using his head, that's for sure. But I'm like, bro, I get you're a competitor, but you've made enough. Like, I'm not a doctor by any stretch of the imagination, but those type of the type of hits, it's one thing to get a concussion and walk off the field. Like, he is losing consciousness on several occasions now.
He's locking up.
Like, he has lost consciousness on several occasions now, bro. Like, that is not good for your brain.
What happens to his neural system is like the worst thing to see on television.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's where his body locks up, his nervous system.
That.
It happens, but it just
it's been drastic.
It's the same kind of concept of like a Chiefs game. Everyone complains about the Chiefs because we're always on television. Every time Tua gets hit hard like that, or not hit hard, and does that, it's on like Thursday Night Football, the only game on TV. It's just like, you know what I mean? So every football fan is watching his body throw, just into the locked position, and it's scary. You know what I mean? It's just it's not ideal.
He's gonna be wearing a Guardian hat.
I don't think that's gonna matter.
I think that has. I feel like
that's
something
gotta
that
be a
should
requirement
be
at this point.
Yeah.
Like, if you had X amount of concussions, like there's no,
It's
like,
gotta be.
and I don't see why everybody's not wearing it.
Right.
Like, it's like, who, like, bro, I don't.
They do in practice.
Yeah, like, I don't care about how I look on the field. Like, I'm getting a bag, and I want to win, and I want to be able to see my kids in 20 years and hang out with them. So, I mean, that's just me. Who else is injured right now? Obviously, Eckler got hurt last week. Any other big time injuries? AJ Brown,
Jonathan Taylor, maybe. We're waiting to hear. He didn't practice.
Right. Yeah.
Today's Wednesday. He didn't practice today.
Yeah.
So
another disappointment. He's a Colts fan too. So.
Oh, you're a Colts fan.
Yeah, another huge disappointment right there.
I'm the disappointment.
No, he is a disappointment.
Why is he?
And Anthony Richardson. I feel like that's I feel like that's a hot button type of NFL topic.
If you ask him, so hold on before I continue.
I don't want. Before we get into it, we just made it to
let's go.
the division series. We just made it to the division series.
Hold on.
Hey, talk your shit, Luke.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Get him out of here. Look at him. Stunned.
There we go. Clap it up.
Fuddled are the Orioles. They just do not know what's going on to them right now.
On to the next, man.
We're going to New York. I believe that's where we're going. I believe we're going right to New York. We're not going to pass. We're pass and go. We're doing all of that. Collect all that $200, and then we're going to New York.
On to the next.
That is amazing.
But back to the Anthony Richardson thing. So obviously he's a Colts fan. When the Colts drafted him, asked Brandon, his name was AR-15. He was a Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson hybrid.
Cam Jackson.
He was a dog. He was this. He was that. We actually made a bet on this podcast, so it's on wax that Anthony Richardson was. I don't remember what the bet was, but it was something along the lines of he was going to have a certain type of season.
Okay,
and he got hurt. Didn't finish the half. So then coming into this season, Brandon's excited. He's hyping him up,
Him and John Taylor haven't played it down yet.
We got Anthony Richardson, or not Anthony Richardson. We got Andrew Luck's replacement. This is our future quarterback. We have a group chat full of it's a fantasy group chat. It's probably 12 guys in there. Yeah. The last 2 weeks, what you want to just repeat what you've been saying?
Fuck Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson is trash. He is ass. He ain't this. He ain't that.
This is before he got hurt.
No, I started saying it in the preseason because I saw that preseason game they played. I was like, this is some of the worst passing I have ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what is going on with this dude? We get into the first game of the season I'm watching. I'm like, good God. Like, he is overthrowing wide open wide receivers. I'm not talking about this is mistakes. Like, these are, oops, my bad. Like, the guy has 5 yards of separation, and you are throwing it 5 yards over his head. Like, there is nothing. No excuses for it.
Let me ask you a question.
And then what happens last week? What happened? What did I say? I said, I want Flacco. Put Flacco in. And what happened? Flacco came in and tore it up.
So let okay.
I'll let you go, but I do have a question I want to ask.
Because I'm trying to get into the Anthony Richardson. He's not it. Which, I mean, I understand that. But how did you feel about him getting hurt and then coming right back into the games to get hurt again? Like, his coach did that. Like, you don't think you're not worried about coaching when those type of decisions? So
that was going to be my second question: is Anthony Richardson ass, or is it a organization and coaching thing? Because I think that, especially as a black quarterback, number one, and just as rookies in general and second year guys, the emphasis on being great for quarterbacks now is like ridiculous. Like guys, I don't think it's like this across the board in all sports, not all sports, but basketball and football especially. Like guys are expected to come in and contribute immediately.
Yeah.
And if you are a black quarterback, you are definitely expected to come in and be a dog right off the bat.
Bryce Young.
So yeah, Bryce.
But here's the thing. The thing about football, you're fine. You're getting paid. You can get paid to just chill. Let him learn from a seasoned veteran like Flacco. Let him learn how to throw and how to command an offense like a guy like Flacco, who is still doing it at this age that he's doing it. Flacco even said, "I'm 8 days older than his mom." like it's crazy. But what did? And in my opinion,
every great quarterback is sat behind somebody.
That was the biggest thing that I felt like helped Aaron Rodgers' career. Is that he got to sit, and he sat longer than a lot of great quarterbacks sat behind.
3 or 4 years, something
Yeah.
Like what Tom Brady sat a half a year behind Bledsoe. He said he loves Bledsoe. He said Bledsoe taught him so much. He said Pat Mahomes sat a year behind. He said, and he says it everything. He says all the time. I love Alex Smith. Alex Smith taught me so much.
Nice.
Let this guy sit behind a seasoned vet. I feel like it would have benefited Andrew Luck to sit behind Peyton Manning. You cannot tell me any different.
But I feel like that was an organizational
thing. But he also he came out and played well though.
No, he came out and played well, but he would not have led the league in interceptions. He would not have led the league in sacks.
Peyton did that.
But they weren't bad.
He broke the record.
But they weren't
his
bad,
rookie year because he had nobody to learn behind.
No, but Peyton was already gone though. Peyton was already gone. That's why they were so bad they got Andrew Luck. Suck for luck.
They needed to.
Because the Chiefs should have done that same year. We should have had Andrew Luck. Instead, we were bad the year after and got Eric Fisher. Great player, but not Andrew.
The year that we only won 2 games,
Payne was like hurt. Was it like his neck?
He was still on the team.
Right. Yeah, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there.
He was going to get treatment.
Year we won 2 games, he was still on the team. So he was gone. He left the next year when Andrew Luck came in, which it made sense. Yeah. He knew that it was going to be RG3 or Andrew Luck. They was going to get. They was going to move on without him. Keep him. Why not? You got to. It's a rookie quarterback. You don't need. Let him learn.
But I think
rookie quarterbacks.
Peyton wanted to play, and it was an injury. There was a lot of speculation on that.
I think,
but there was a lot of speculation on that injury too, wasn't it? Like whether
Peyton didn't know how much time he had left.
Until
he came back and threw for 55 touchdowns.
That first,
55?
Remember that first game? The first game, he threw for 7 touchdowns in one game. Like I think everybody was like, "Yeah, I think he's out."
But then when he was done, he was done.
Yeah, he was done.
You know what I mean?
And we saw him in that
throwing 4 picks against the Chiefs.
Saw them ducks.
Game. Like, it's just like when he was done, he was done. So I think that was a big part of Peyton Manning. I need to get this off right now.
Listen, I'm not. You know me. I will support my black quarterbacks, black athletes, in period. Anthony Richardson pisses me off. Right?
Yeah, but give him some time, man.
Me off.
I think,
and I agree with you. I think he needs time.
He just thinks he felt like he should have had that time.
Just let Flacco continue going.
I think
this year
every quarterback in the league needs at least 3 seasons to. Then we can start making a determination on how good they are. Because
your guy
the transition.
He fucked it up for everybody.
He did, but
Mahomes, everybody's. He look at the year that he had, essentially his rookie year.
Yeah. 50 touchdowns.
He didn't fuck it up for everybody to get paid because Pat's on the biggest discount in the league right now.
Right. Yeah. He has sped up the trajectory for quarterbacks. Period. He has.
Yeah. But you can't use him as an example because
he's out. He's outlier.
Yeah, like he is because learning a NFL, like reading an NFL defense, reading schemes, understanding that playbook, like that's a lot to come in from the college level into the NFL when you're playing against the best of the best of the best. The game's a lot faster, things move a lot quicker.
Oh, he admitted that he didn't know how to read a defense.
Oh, he straight up said, literally in his interview, he said fucking who's our quarterback coach?
Kafka, I think.
Matt
Nagy.
Nagy gave him like all the answers to the questions because Matt Nagy wanted them. He was like, I didn't know anything. He's like, Nagy gave me all the answers.
Like, he did say that. So here's what they're going to ask you tomorrow.
Yeah, so I mean, but and he is an outlier, but I do think that guys need more. Players need more grace, and people don't want to admit it, but black athletes don't get grace.
Bryce Young
doesn't get a lot of grace, but then you look at guys like Sam Darnold. Look at guys like homeboy Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen got a ton of time. Baker Mayfield. I mean, the list goes on and on for these other quarterbacks that are still in the league playing football.
Oh, I agree. Listen. I felt we did just see fucking what was the dude's name for the Dolphins?
Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, but Huntley is not an NFL starter.
He is, but I'm saying he's
trying
still. But
trying to
what happened years ago is the guys like the Vince Youngs who played 8 years, but left the league with a winning record, but for some reason couldn't be a backup anywhere.
Yeah.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton? Like, it's just like, why are these guys not at least backup somewhere? It makes no sense. I'm glad the guys like Huntley right now are still being backups or getting picked up somewhere.
What's
Tyrod Taylor?
Shout out to him. You know,
shout out
Tyrod
to that brother.
like building his career.
Tyrod Taylor is really an NFL legend.
Yeah, he really is.
Really is.
Brissett, I don't know. He just keeps finding a starting position,
And he represents himself too, which is
yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy. But God dang it! Tyrod Taylor, to me, he was always the I'm gonna say it here in a minute. The Kenny Lofton. He's the Kenny Lofton of football. Kenny Lofton moved around. He moved everywhere, bro.
He had a bit of time. And
Tyrod gonna find a job.
Hey, the Giants, you about to win the World Series? Let me
get in.
And I think maybe that's the difference is that he's coming in like, look, I want to keep a job.
Yeah.
So if y'all want me to start, I'll stay ready. You need me to back up, I'll stay ready. But hey, I want a job.
And he helps develop young quarterbacks.
Geno Smith. I mean, Geno's like nobody. And even speaking of just every quarterback right now, like there's a lot of guys right now that nobody expected to see the performance that we're seeing. Like Geno, he turns the ball over quite a bit, but Geno's been having a good past 2-3 seasons. Like he's really turned up ever since they lost Wilson.
Solid.
Like he's been a guy to get you where you need to go. You said something about Sam Darnold in the group chat. I don't think Sam Darnold's that great.
I think
he is playing with some of the best talent in the league, and we're seeing he's winning.
Yeah,
but he's playing like he's going for 182. He's not out there just.
He's
managing the game.
Coaching him up.
Yeah, he's managing the game very well.
He's not a sexy quarterback.
No,
even when you watch him,
you don't think he's. I mean, what was he, number 4 pick in the draft? I mean, he got a little, not at all. Not at all.
I'm not impressed by it.
I'm not. Yeah. I mean, but you're playing with arguably the best wide receiver duo in the league.
It's the same kind of concept of. I mean, the Jets just kind of threw him out there. Maybe he should have sat, and this would have unlocked a little bit for. I'm not, I'm just trying to, play the little devil's out because I mean, I think the dude has thrown for 11 touchdowns this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're throwing him to Jettas. I mean, you got the best wide receiver in the league. Let's call it what it is.
And you got a really good number 2.
Yeah,
who could probably be a number 1. It's
Jordan Addison.
And what do we say? Like program matters. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Kevin O'Connell.
Scenery matters for these guys.
You got Kevin O'Connell, and then on top of that, Brian Flores coaching that defense.
We see it right now with Justin Fields.
Yeah, coaching.
Like last year, Justin Fields was a bum.
Yeah,
Justin in our group chat called him a bum. I just don't like him. I'm like, I think it's his organization and where he's at. Just like we're seeing with Caleb Williams right now. He finally got a dub, but
I'm not ready to blame it on coaching like that.
I don't know. I think it's an organizational thing for Caleb Williams so far. I don't think he's that great either, but I think he deserves a chance.
Okay, so real quick on the Caleb Williams thing.
He ain't. I'm glad he ain't my quarterback.
To me though, when you call it hype, you call it whatever his narrative you want to call it was supposed to surpass whatever.
True.
Chicago woes are supposed to be. So I know that brother didn't ask for that, but I'm just going by what they told me.
Yeah.
Right? And what they told me was Caleb Williams is supposed to be like that. Now, every time I see him try to unlock that trait,
Patrick Mahomes and all that,
we ain't going to do all that. But everything that they've kind of told me about it, like, the scrambling ability, the throwing off platform, he's not even doing that well, in my opinion. So
he played at USC where everything was perfect.
Everything was that kind of play.
He didn't get touched. He had the ability to move around. He had good players to play with, good receivers. I mean that, and he does it. He got good players right now. I mean DJ Moore ain't no slouch.
I was gonna say DJ Moore. He ain't got no. Keenan Allen. You got a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
as your like longevity running mate. You know what I mean?
He's got good players on defense.
DeAndre Swift just went off. Like, this is his first game kind of getting off. But if you want to talk offensive line, okay. But, I mean, Offensive line play is just not good in the NFL regardless.
For the most part.
One more quarterback, and then we'll move on. Bryce Young. I mean,
you seen the rumors about that too. Well, and also, what's up with it? Before this is off sports a little bit, but it pertains to sports.
Yeah.
But what is it with professional athletes and celebrities dating the same women? I've never understood that. Like me and my homeboys ain't never. Now, don't get me wrong. We was younger. You might be like, "Oh, I popped her too." But like, we're not out and about dating in serious relationships with the same women back to back to back.
I don't know this rumor.
Oh, that's like what's?
So you didn't see Tyreek Maxey with his ex old lady?
Yeah.
At the Eagles game,
they
said that they might as well have just put up on the screen Bryce Young's girl.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. It was that bad. Yeah. Like it was
Tyreek Hill was
Tyrese Maxey.
Plays for the Philadelphia.
He was at the Eagles game with Bryce Young's ex girl, who was also Shedeur Sanders' old lady, who was also maybe someone else.
That's a lot going on.
To his point, they all be recycling kind of the same.
It's a little weird to me, and the rumor is that's affected his playing. But I just think that it's
and it's no shot to the young lady. I want to get that clear because she landed with a max player deal. Like Tyrese Maxey is. I mean, you can only go up from there.
Yeah, he's him,
right? So I mean, Bryce Young. He ain't. I don't think he's gonna make as much money as Tyreek Maxey. Not to say that that's what she's doing it for, but what I'm saying is where you fall is where you fall. It just.
She ain't Will Bill the plumber. So what do you mean? That's what she's doing it for. What are you talking about?
Hey, they in her DMs, man. Probably,
that's why I said they probably are pursuing her. Like, I just don't want to cast any aspersions on the young lady because I don't know her.
Yeah, facts.
I don't know her. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let's just say she likes athletes.
She does.
Oh,
she has a type. She has a type.
Very clear,
and that's okay.
And I think most make money,
and they like her too. Yeah. So it's because I mean, Snoop Dogg, he taught me a lot in my life. But he said, and I don't know if he made this up, but maybe he said every day a sucker gets licked. So
yeah.
Found a button there.
It's not that young lady's fault.
Yeah.
But she could be very well one of the reasons why Bryce Young is now on scholarship at Down Bad University.
Yeah. Clip that. But I mean, and that's another example. You got a veteran guy that's coming in that's just he's been in the league. He knows what he's doing. Andy Dalton was once, probably at one point in his career, a top 10 guy, top 15 player.
I'm a Bengals hater, so he was good enough to get the Bengals to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
and I didn't hate the Bengals back then when he was playing. I hate them motherfuckers now though. There's not a player I dislike more than Jamar Chase right now. I just do, and I know we're on a tangent right now, but I've just never met a brother that just like everything about you is just to despise this one team. You get asked a question, just like when they was talking about Pat being the number one player, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not saying that guy's name, bro. That is lame." And I hate his postseason his presence in the not the postseason, but post game presence, like the way he talks to reporters, like the arrogance, just being a fucking asshole. Like, bro, I don't like Jamar Chase.
We're the team to beat.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, Burrowhead. Yeah, all right. When y'all beat us in Arrowhead and then y'all went to the Super Bowl, y'all lost. You couldn't get the deal done. But anyways, anything else about Bryce Young?
No, I was just saying it's
unfortunate. Unfortunate for the young brother.
It's unfortunate for him. I mean, it's just some of the things where, just to kind of get into the X's and O's of it, some of the things that coming out of college with Bryce Young, he's not reading defenses. That's what he did at an elite level to be picked number one. Yeah. He's just not doing it. First throw of the season is an interception.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I guess only where you can go is up, but
I'm thinking off the top of my head, but I can't think of anybody right now. I'm talking about just in the last 10 years. So since 2014, who had at quarterback had a successful rookie season?
I mean, Jaden Daniels is throwing for like 80% right now.
Yeah, he's playing well. Let's see here. Out
the gate though.
I mean, just just without a shadow of a doubt, he's rookie of the year.
And sustain. Are you saying like they've played well and sustained?
Yeah, and continued on.
I guess you could say
like,
Cam Newton never really had
that was,
some. I mean, he had some downs, but
no, Cam Newton, he was rookie of the year. He did great. Andrew Luck had a decent year. He took the Colts to the playoffs.
I mean,
Lamar years, right?
Lamar Jackson had a good rookie run, didn't he?
As soon as he came in, they were good. Like that was like the little weird thing with him and Flacco of like maybe we didn't know if Flacco wanted to give up the job to Lamar, and then I think maybe he got hurt and Lamar just never gave it back.
Josh Allen
to me, like
year?
no, I wouldn't.
I don't think it's I
wouldn't put Josh Allen in that started off great thing. It was more of a Stephon Diggs got there, and then you kind of seen that unlock a little bit.
I don't think his rookie year. I just can't. Maybe it was.
In front of me.
Maybe it was.
I'm just going down the list of the last QBs picked: Baker, Jameis, Jared Goff, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Kyler Murray, Matt
Jared
Stafford.
Goff was what? How many years before he got to the Super Bowl?
That was 2000.
What year was he drafted? Do you have that up?
Let's see here. Jared Goff. Let's see here. He went to the Super Bowl the year that was the highest scoring game against the Chiefs.
So that was what, 2018?
2016. Yeah. So
I mean, he had a couple years before he made it to the Super Bowl.
But it was Pat's first year starting, I believe.
Yeah, because they came in 17. Kareem Hunt played. That's where a lot of people get mixed up, is because Kareem Hunt played while Pat sat.
Yeah,
because they were rookies together.
They played
a season together before Kareem Hunt,
and that was just an unfortunate thing.
It just goes with my thing. Like I just feel like, and maybe I'm just by my. I don't want any.
Shouts out to our sponsor.
Yeah, these are good.
I don't want any quarterback to start as a rookie no more. I
think it depends on where
does not benefit them.
It depends on where your organization is at.
I think you're more right than wrong.
Yeah,
for sure. It's just some of these guys like Jaden Daniels.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's just I think he's someone who's setting out and striving. It's just you could say maybe.
I think you do have a choice.
I mean,
they're always starting more times than not in front of a veteran backup.
But coach may not have a choice.
But what you have to understand is if you're a team if you have a top 5 pick in today's NFL landscape, your team just came off of however many big 10 lose season. You know, you lost 8 games, 9, 10 games. When you draft a quarterback in the first round, the expectation now, unfortunately, is that if he is available and ready to play, we're gonna play you. Especially a lot of these teams picking early. Like, who did Washington have to start? Who did Carolina have to start?
Taylor Heineke.
You know,
and forgive me if I was watching a podcast. I can't think of the podcast, but they brought up this like the great point about NILs now. Mm-hmm. NILs and transfer portal and like how people are moving around and a lot of quarterbacks are moving around in college and with these different systems, and when they come into the NFL now, they're not ready because they haven't stayed with at least the same system.
Right.
And then the NFLs can adopt some of that system into their play, which i.e. what happened with a lot of the Andrew Lucks, the Cam Newtons. They were able to adopt some of those some of those plays they had in college.
Patrick Mahomes,
those systems.
Patrick Mahomes, the systems they had. They're not having that right now with some of these guys. I'm not saying all of them are like
but that's only been in the last few years. And since we're on it, man, I don't mind talking about it again. And we've talked about it a few times, but just especially with that whole UNLV situation, that quarterback there. Me personally, I hate the fact that, and we do have a question on the NFL we'll get back to, but I hate that the transfer portal and NIL happened at the same time. I absolutely think that ruined college sports. I think it did. I think guys should be able to make money. Absolutely. I've been a proponent for that forever. Yeah. And what my biggest thing with NIL is that obviously it should be profit sharing. And that's how I think it can work out. Right. The NCAA is a multi-billion-dollar industry. There is no reason why there is not profit sharing amongst players that can get paid. And then on an individual basis, if you want to go shoot a car commercial, if you want to sign a Nike deal, you get your bag. That's cool. But what I don't like is this disagreement on money being paid. And now I'm going to leave and jump ship. You can't have both of them. And also, it's like at the end of the day, you are a student athlete. We're starting to treat these guys too much like employees, and then it's like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't like the fact that this UNLV quarterback can play 3 games and then purposefully say, I'm gonna redshirt now.
How you gonna profit share the captain of the rowing team?
I'm saying
That's
it's
what I'm
profit sharing, but that's different. It's profit sharing specifically from the revenue of the NCAA. You can create a structure based on that, and then if the captain of the fucking rowing team wants to go do a commercial, he can get a separate bag. But I don't. When you mix in this, like the whole UNLV, none of us ever know what really happened until they come out and say it, or he comes out and says it. But a school should never be able to promise a guy X amount of dollars to come play there, because that defeats the purpose of what the NIL was. It wasn't supposed to be universities paying players, and that's what it's turned into.
But from what I know, that is not what happened. I guess his agent just was talking to the wrong people. Like you like he didn't talk to the school. He
That's what I think
he
happened.
talked to a coach.
I think what happened was that the coach was like, "We want you to come play here." And so you want. Oh, you want 100? Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And the coach didn't talk to nobody and was just like, "Oh, we'll figure it out when we get there."
Right.
And now we're here. But he's a prime example of this is a very flawed system. And it's like, and no knock to him, but like he's not a good quarterback. I get that UNLV is 3-0, but he has thrown for 300 yards in 3 games. He is not a good quarterback. He's a running back that plays quarterback, and you're also a 5th-year guy. You've been in the NCAA for 5 years.
You're trying to get that bag.
And I get it.
This is last bag.
Yeah, respectable,
right?
because the NFL is out of the question.
Yeah.
But it's like now, if I'm a team, I got to be desperate to want to pay you a bag after what just happened there.
Oh yeah, he's done.
Like
No, he's
I
done.
have to be desperate because you were playing at UNLV. You weren't at Notre Dame. You weren't at Michigan. Like you were at UNLV, dog, and they had an opportunity to have a good season. But like, you ain't that guy that's gonna go somewhere else and get a bag. You came from fucking, where did he come from? A school in New Jersey or whatever it was. Not Liberty, but it was some bullshit Christian college or something. But
Well, and I saw that. I mean, Instagram post, take it for what you want, but someone screenshotted an Instagram post of one of the coaches being like yes, because I mean they came out and smoked Fresno State last weekend without the guy, like with the quarterback throwing the football, probably more of an offense that they wanted to run. So it seemed like this guy was kind of like holding, like he really sounded like he shot himself in the foot. Him or his agent, one of the two. You know what I mean?
I said from the beginning that the NILs were good, but I feel like that needed to be figured out, and it still does. I think it's still a work in progress at the end of the day.
For sure.
I always said from the beginning that I don't think they needed to have agents. Like I feel like that rule should have stayed, because they couldn't, and even before the NIL deals, they couldn't have agents. They called them something associates or something like that, because they couldn't officially have agents until they actually signed
consultants
consultants or whatever. I felt like that rule should have stayed in place, personally. But I mean, I know that's an agent. That's what they do. They help.
I think it has to
wouldn't
be.
want to broker $1 million deal without it.
Yeah.
For some of these kids,
There just has to be some more consistency and ruling in place of how you can get money and how this money is going to funnel through and who's going to pay it to you. Because originally, my understanding was that universities were not supposed to directly pay players.
Correct.
It could come from any other source, a booster, whoever else. It was universities were not supposed to pay players. But we all know that universities clearly are paying players, or somebody within the organization is paying them.
Well,
and the transfer portal, there has to be some sort of consequence for you committing to a team. I just don't think you should be able to jump ship. It goes back to what you were saying about not knowing you shouldn't be able to leave because a situation you didn't agree with and then immediately go play somewhere. You got to sit your ass down.
Yeah.
I
mean it all shouldn't. Yeah, I agree with you. I've said that too for a long time. It all should not have happened at the same time. Like,
no, they were just under pressure.
Well, it's like the transfer portal. We knew that was coming down the pipeline, but then it's like, and we all knew NIL was coming. I mean, at the end of the day, it's name, image, and likeness. So they're free to make money
however they want,
and
they should always be able to do that.
They really should, and they even have conventions now where these people where they just have people from all over. And they can just go in and just it's great. They got that thing on y'all should check it out. It's on I think it's on Max or Prime Video, maybe Prime Video, where it has LSU and all their some of their athletes, and it's basically about NIL deals. It's got the 2 girls from the basketball team.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
got
yeah,
the- it's
yeah.
got the
The
gymnast,
Androids, yeah.
gymnast,
Livy Dunn.
yeah, Livy
Paul
Dunn.
Skeens.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Paul
Paul
Skeens
Skeens girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has like we watched the first episode. It's actually
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of, this is way off topic. You mentioned Max. I don't know if y'all watched Penguin yet, but you need to watch that. That shit is
Fire.
fire.
Listen,
That honestly is maybe better than Batman so
no,
far.
no, time out. I wait.
Nah, I
gotta
can't.
binge it. I gotta binge
I can't, dog. It's that good.
it. I heard.
I
I
can't
heard.
binge
I
it.
heard
Bro,
it was.
I'm telling you, it's
you know how I am. I'm big
Second
on mob
episode is
movies.
better than this first one too. It's like it's
yeah, like
it's,
Colin Farrell is like in his bag in this,
Yeah.
and they
Listen,
said that before you go. They said that I saw something that said that he had to enter to finish this show like such a dark like part of himself that like the only way to get out of it was for him to watch like some sort of cartoons every day, like SpongeBob or some shit like that. Like he was really like in his, I mean, it's an incredible show.
No.
Like,
Listen, I am a mob. Like Godfather 1 and 2 is my 1A and 1B movies
So this is gonna
of
be
all
your
time.
bag. This is your bag.
And everybody keeps telling me, hey, it's like a mob movie, and I'm a superhero nut. Like I love superhero movies. Like so. They was like, it's kind of best of both worlds. And they say it's not really. They say it's like a lot of mobster like stuff.
yeah, it's pretty much
Like,
it's the Penguin.
it
That's
is.
what he
Yes, it
was.
was.
yeah. And so I'm like, I'm all for it, but I got to binge. Like, because I know if I watch the first 2 episodes,
You
I'm
need
gonna
a
be
couple
upset.
more. Yeah, you need a couple.
I'm gonna be
more.
upset.
I mean, I like to when I get some downtime to be able to like tune in. I hated
Yeah.
that the second episode came out so. But you said mob, so have you watched The Sopranos?
I was.
I'm here to tell you,
Hold on, where's it? At?
stay off the weed.
I don't know where I'm gonna find it, but that's blasphemy. That is
What?
blasphemy. You haven't watched The
No,
Sopranos?
I said I watched The Sopranos.
Nah, you
I
made it
just-
seem like you didn't
I
finish The
wasn't
Sopranos.
that big, huge Soprano.
That is the greatest
just-
mob television show that has
The
ever been
only
written.
one.
It's honestly to me top 5 TV show of all time.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Okay, the Game of Thrones is up there too.
Game of Thrones.
Don't
is
get me
the
wrong.
greatest show of all time.
I said top 5.
Okay, got time.
Yeah, that means
The
it's 4.
Sopranos, bro. The
Sopranos.
Sopranos is elite television that you can go watch today. That
You
came
might
out,
even-
that came out 20 years ago, and you can still watch and enjoy The Sopranos today.
You might
I
even
agree
have
with
to like break that down of what if you want to call it HBO. I know it's Max now,
See,
but
here's the thing,
Max
here's the thing.
Max
HBO.
shows like you know what I mean.
Oh,
It's
that's
just-
one of the
I
greatest.
mean,
Game
you
of
got
Thrones,
The Wire, Game
The
of
Wire,
Thrones.
and The Sopranos.
I
Here's
mean,
the-
you want to
here's-
go.
Here's the thing with
just
Sopranos.
that show,
though.
Sex in the City. It's
I
just,
was so young when Sopranos came out, and I was watching
Oh,
it
so was I.
young with my older brother. That I didn't really know what was going on.
Watch it now.
And so I have never went back to watch.
Go
it
back and
again.
watch it. It's
So-
one of those shows where it's like the character development of Tony Soprano, his associates, everybody. Like, and it's inside the mob life of a guy who's struggling with fucking trauma, basically going to see a fucking therapist and also killing people. You know what I'm saying? Like it really. Like I watched it when COVID hit. 'Cause I had
Yeah.
COVID and I started it, and I watched it all.
This is one thing we're missing right now. Maybe this Penguin brings it back because I was just talking to my dad about it, man. You know, my he's the one that got me on like The Godfather, and I was like, he's like we're just missing that mobster movie.
That
That
mafioso.
maybe Penguin brings that back, gives us that little taste. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the Ricos scared them all away.
Oh, it turned off just now. How did it turn off with plugged in? Is it overheating?
Check that Penguin out, brother. Don't wait. Don't wait.
I gotta wait.
Like, it really
Don't wait.
And what's funny is that it's got a guy that was he was in a Marvel TV show called it was on Hulu. I forget what the show was called, but it was like all these kids had these like weird fucking powers or some shit. It was like 2 or 3 seasons of it. But before this camera dies again, I want to dive into one last topic, and we can call it a show. Because he said he had a hot take on this. And if you got a hypothetical, we can also do that.
Sure.
So I got a question for both of y'all. It was in the notes. Will Derrick Henry be the last running back to touch 10,000 yards in a career?
We talked about that.
I personally think if he won't be the last, he will be one of the last. And I think, honestly, he'll be the last.
He ain't getting 15.
No, not at all.
Nah, he's over 30. Or at 30.
Somewhere.
Either way it goes, I actually am on the other side of that. I think the running back class in college right now that's coming out. Have you seen any of these cats? Ashton
the kid at Boise?
Boise.
Bro, have you seen him? Bro, the
got-
kid got over 800 yards in 3 games.
We got some running backs, and I mean, honestly, right now the way I think through 4 weeks, passing in the NFL has been down-ish. I think I think maybe the Seahawks and Detroit kind of unlocked it maybe over on Monday Night Football. But, I mean, teams are running the football a lot more just to get them out of that cover two, the whole cover two fiasco.
You also got to ask yourself, what team outside of the Ravens have a lead back? Like, not a lot of teams are rolling with a lead back.
This draft class coming up, but the lead backs are coming.
But
that's probably
also,
like 7 of them.
But that's also considering that they play 10-plus seasons also. Like that's put a lot of pressure on him. Like I will say this, Derrick Henry has 9,892 yards. So he's going to surpass 10K this year. Right. The next guy is Ezekiel Elliott at 89-85. And I don't think he's going to touch it. But he might. Zeke's got a couple more years maybe left in the tank, but I don't think the next active player, you got to scroll down, is Joe Mixon at 6,500 yards. Then Latavius Murray, who's really not playing, Melvin Gordon, who's not playing, Nick Chubb, and Aaron Jones. They're all at 6,000 yards. Alvin Kamara, 6,000. Christian McCaffrey, maybe, if this injury situation can figure itself out.
Too much.
He's at 6,100 yards, and Christian's been in the league for, 7 years now?
You said, what'd you say Joe Mixon was at again?
Joe Mixon's at 65.96. I don't think he touches 10K. I think Mixon's got another
3,500 more? I
think he's got another two 1K seasons left in him, but...
And then bounce around from there to get the other.
That's tough, though. He'd be the closest guy on the list to maybe get there. Nick Chubb, that's probably not going to
get hurt too much. Yeah.
And he's been dealing with this. Like, I've never met a guy that have this many knee injuries starting in college.
Devastating knee injuries, too. Like, these are like the worst of the worst.
Like, literally happened at Georgia. It's happened twice now in Cleveland.
It's hard because not only is it very pass heavy.
Saquon's got 5,600 yards. I mean, so maybe.
Saquon probably,
and what's crazy, you know who's under Saquon? Lamar Jackson.
Is there really?
Lamar Jackson might hit 10K.
Lamar Jackson got more than Jonathan Taylor?
Yes.
Dang.
John Taylor basically didn't play last year.
Right.
Lamar Jackson has 5,500 yards.
Yeah. You were before he didn't play.
My hot take, though, is there's backs coming.
JT's got 49.31.
I think there's backs coming where they're gonna focus on the run a little bit more going into the NFL. Well, I think there's a lot of guys.
The just running back is just so dead and gone. Like, backs are expected to catch the ball now.
Yeah, that's true.
Think. Take it.
Derrick Henry is the only running back in the league that is not expected to catch the ball, and that's because he averages 8 yards a carry.
Think in y'all brains right now. Can you imagine Barry Sanders catching the ball right now? I can't even imagine. I can't think of a play.
I could.
I'm sure it happens.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it happens.
Barry,
When we're talking about a shifty back, I can imagine Barry.
Yeah, Barry.
I'm sure he did. But listen,
I think that's a natural thing for Barry if he played in this.
No.
100%.
No. I think you're mistaken what I'm saying. I'm saying try to think of it. Everybody has the Barry Sanders highlight reel going on in their brain. Mm-hmm. It's handing the ball. It's not him catching the ball.
But it's not. Right. It's a lot of tosses.
What I'm saying is, it didn't happen a lot back then.
Right.
So that's why he was able to because every time he touched the ball, it was damn near a handoff. It did not happen a lot back then. Now these guys are expected to catch the ball out of the backfield. They all are. That was the biggest. That's the reason why Jonathan Taylor went to the second round, because he didn't. It's not the fact that he couldn't. He didn't do it. Had to do it a lot in college. And same thing with Saquon. But he was like a freak in nature. So they were like, he's going to be all right.
Do you think teams are going to continue to play cover two? One of the most well-known defenses. Just that. I mean, you don't have to be like a super football nerd to really know or have heard of a cover two.
Yeah,
right.
2 deep safeties.
Right.
I think that quarters of the field. No. I think that teams are going to continue to adapt because you look at Tom Brady in the Patriots. You play cover two all you want. Tom's going to eat you up across the middle all day with Julian Edelman. That's what he's going to do.
See, we don't that quarterback doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, no, he doesn't
anymore.
But we started to see it with Pat a little bit. We saw it with Rashee Rice coming across the middle a lot.
And so I guess my point is with the evolution of the quarterback, to me, there's more quarterbacks in the league I don't want to use Lamar Jackson as the thing. There's not anyone like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, but similar to how he plays the game.
That
Jaden Daniels
is there where you're running the football one way or the other. Like you said, Lamar Jackson is up there in all-time active carries.
And we see a lot of quarterbacks, even that we don't expect it out of, that are still going to get, like I feel like 15 years ago, a quarterback having 500-600 rushing yards in a season was a lot. Now, I mean, Pat is touching 300-400.
He's
Brock
there.
Purdy's even getting up there. You know, there's a lot of these quarterbacks. You almost have to be able to use your feet at some point or another to pick up at least 3 to 5 yards.
So I put it like this: I feel like if Shanahan gets a back that he can keep, Mike McDaniel gets a back that he can keep, there's guys that are going to run the football, and I think that there's enough of them, especially in this coming out draft. I shit you not, there's probably like 10 guys that like they gotta get drafted.
Yeah, I think
not
so.
not a undrafted. You're finding a Pacheco, not a something like that. I think there's so many guys,
and I think
you got Judkins at Ohio State coming out. You got Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State. I feel like the Giddens kid from K-State can come out. The kid from KU, he'll be all right. I'm just saying these are the backs that are coming
There's
out.
a lot more opportunity.
You know what I mean? There's more opportunity. I think there's just more opportunity for guys.
Well, and I think you also now you almost have to solidify the run game to open up the pass game.
And that's my point.
You
That's
almost
my
have
point.
like you see it with the Chiefs. You know, obviously it was a struggle with until Kareem Hunt came in.
They're
going
gonna
to
have to run the
like
football.
you almost have, and that's been almost our Achilles heel for a while. Is that the run game has been very suspect.
You know what I don't understand is why he's not good is Swift. DeAndre Swift.
He is good though.
He's good. He had a good year last year.
No, he didn't. What do you mean he had a good year?
He had a good year last year.
What did he do last year? Did he have a good year last year?
Let's look it
Yeah,
up.
him and Justin Fields. I feel like that was all they had. Was him?
Did he go over 1,000 yards?
Maybe not. But
maybe
all-purpose yards. All-purpose yards.
But
He probably
but my
had
thing is,
close to
like,
1,500.
I think it's like he has like every intangible. Like when you,
DeAndre Swift had 1,000 yards last season.
he had 1,000 yards.
I was gonna say he probably
On
I wouldn't bet no money.
229
quiet.
attempts. You know,
It was a quiet 1,000.
he averaged over 4.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, he just started off slow this year. He had his breakout last game.
My thing with him is like this dude has every intangible. Like when you watch him play, he reminds you.
He can run, he can catch, he can do it all, and he's shifty.
He reminds you of LT. He reminds you of damn times. Like when you watch him play, you're like, it's like you're looking at the same person, but just like the production ain't that.
I forgot about Jahmyr Gibbs. Now that we're thinking about it, I feel like once he gets all the carries, he could be somebody.
I think that there's some reason in there that they were just relying on Montgomery. Like Montgomery is the lead down back.
I think it's one of those things where you got a Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
I don't want to run him into the ground 3 years into his career.
Fair.
You know what I mean? So it's just like one of those things where as his career gets like they want to have some sort of longevity with the Jahmyr Gibbs.
They got a thing that ain't broken, man.
Right, yeah.
Like they
you-
got a 200 monster.
You run Montgomery into the ground. Like that's
You
the
should. He's
guy.
what, 10 years in now or something like that?
That's the guy you run into the ground.
So speaking of backs, I got a hot take that I want to say, and I honestly think this. I almost think that if you played and you retired 10 years ago and you rushed for over 10,000 yards, you should be in the Hall of Fame. I think that should be a prerequisite for getting into the Hall of Fame is rushing for 10,000. Now, and honestly, maybe even more so today, but because, I mean, there's a lot of guys, I'm looking at the list right now that are in the Hall of Fame, but like a guy like Fred Taylor, not in the Hall of Fame yet. Steven Jackson, Corey Dillon, LaShawn McCoy, Warwick Dunn, Ricky Waters, Jamal Lewis. I mean, there's Tiki Barber. These guys, Marshawn Lynch, all went for over 10K. And then Ricky Williams. That's it. Then it's Derrick Henry and below.
These guys are going to be first ballot.
Well, yeah, not first ballot, but I'm thinking like, I'm just looking at the list. Now, granted, the other guys that are in, Frank Gore is going to be first ballot.
Was Marshawn Lynch there when they won the Super Bowl?
I think
When they beat the Panthers? Or not not the Panthers. I'm sorry.
You talking the
Broncos when they blew it? When they blew out the Broncos.
Marshawn Lynch has a ring. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Isn't
this his first year? His Marshawn Lynch's first year of eligibility. I think it's this year.
You say you don't Frank? What about Frank Gore?
I don't think Frank Gore is eligible. I think he's already been eligible.
He should be in 16,000 yards.
Yes, but
Number 3 all time.
Dude played 30 seasons.
So what? So did Emmitt Smith.
That's a fact.
Emmitt Smith played for 24 years.
Well, I think
Frank Gore played for 15.
I think.
I don't think it's 24.
I think we should.
Yes, 1990 to 2004.
We should keep.
Or 14 years. Sorry, 14 years.
Yeah, that was like 24 years.
What did they pick right before the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl? That's when they usually pick, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's usually when they pick. So
I like what you did there.
We should keep Marshawn Lynch in the back of our mind, and then to bring that back up because this is his first year of eligibility. I think if he don't make it, I think a lot of those guys that you named who hadn't done as much in the postseason, or has those big, like Marshawn Lynch has the run.
Yeah.
Right. He has like things that I think Marshawn Lynch maybe.
I'm trying to pull up the list.
I think he's a Hall of Famer out the gate.
First ballot?
I think he's out the gate. I think so.
I don't know about first ballot. It's tricky. But let's look at the 2024.
I
think so. I think
like Emmitt Smith was first ballot, correct?
Yeah,
He was first ballot. Barry Sanders
went
first ballot.
I think, but he retired as all-time leading rusher though. Emmitt Smith did.
Yeah.
So I mean that's. I mean, there's no one who ran for more. Like, why wouldn't you be first
Barry
ballot?
Sanders would have, but he just chose not.
I mean, have you seen where Emmitt Smith said he wore 4 jerseys in that game where he broke the record?
Yeah,
he wore 4 different jerseys.
How many carries he
There's
having?
actually like a behind the there's like a behind the scenes like
literally he's like giving up socks. I mean, I'm trying to think of how do I pull up the Pro Football Hall of Fame class in 2024. So Devin Hester,
Right.
Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis,
Reggie Wayne better
Dwight Freeney, Tony Dungy, Bruce Smith, Adrian James, Chris Carter. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at this wrong.
You talking about the class that just went? Are you talking about who's
Julius,
eligible?
Julius Peppers.
Yeah.
That's the class that
He
just
went.
got.
Yeah, he went in.
That just got in.
I had a list somewhere. I don't know where it went. 2025 inductees, NFL. 2025 Hall of Fame. About Marshawn Lynch, Clay Matthews, Adam Vinatieri, Eli Manning, Luke Kuechly. I mean, this is a really good list.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the full list at? Earl Thomas, Vernon Davis, Aqib Talib, Ryan Khalil, Marshall Yonda, Joe Staley, Terrell Suggs.
Out of that list, tell me why Marshawn Lynch not going in. Off of purely, they just got to pick somebody.
Yeah, but how many get in? Do you know the total number?
I don't.
I don't either.
I feel like out of that list you named, Marshawn Lynch
Eli
is
a guarantee.
First ballot?
Absolutely.
Because of the Super Bowl.
2 Super Bowls. He's top. I think he's top 5
That's
or
it.
top
That's
10
it,
in all-time career stats, though.
You think so?
Oh, he is. He's Eli is top. I think I just pulled it the other day. I believe he's top 5 in all-time career
passing
yards, touchdowns,
interceptions too.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, 2 rings, dog. I mean that solidifies a lot for a quarterback.
He beat Brady for both of them. So
yes, he beat the GOAT.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know about Earl Thomas. I don't know about. I mean, Adam Vinatieri. I mean, historic.
I feel like Adam
Historic.
Vinatieri.
That's historic.
Yeah.
Clay Matthews. I'm really leaning towards that as well. Like Luke Kuechly, I don't think he'll get in first ballot just because his career was short.
I think he deserves.
But I think
to be
he will
in.
get in there.
I
though.
think he deserves.
I think
to
he
be
will
in.
get in there.
Maybe
though.
not like you said. Maybe not first ballot, but
Yeah.
I think Kuechly deserves to be in.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's
I feel
anybody
like
else on
Marshawn
the
Lynch
list.
gets in.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel
There's
like
167 people on this list. God damn.
I feel like
Mark Bolger's on the list. Randall Cunningham is on the list.
So these are
Doug Flutie on the list.
These are
But these are
the
previous.
past,
Yeah.
We're talking about the first ballot people, and I think Marshawn Lynch is one to watch because
Anquan
I
Boldin.
mean, I kind of agree. Like if Marshawn Lynch, let me rephrase that. If Fred Taylor isn't in,
Yeah.
why does Marshawn Lynch get in? And I think it's that Super Bowl.
It may
if
be.
if he's on that team, I
think
just can't remember.
Fred
back.
Taylor, he is on the team.
Yeah.
He does have a ring, but because that was the year they went back to back.
Right?
They won and then they lost to the
to-
Patriots.
yeah.
Yeah, because Fred Taylor, I mean, it's got him by at least 1,200 yards, I think, something like that. Fred Taylor's got 11,000 something.
Right.
And again, I think Fred Taylor's a very underrated running back. Like
Right.
I feel like a lot of kids don't know who Fred Taylor was. Like he was a dog.
Dog.
Like he was a dog. And I think Fred Taylor might have. Does he have a 2K season? I don't think so. I don't think he's on that list.
There's no way. I'm looking at the wide receiver list for guys who are eligible. If
Wide receiver-
if
wide
Reggie
receivers
Wayne,
so
if
watered
Reggie Wayne
down,
don't
though.
get it, I am. After this year, there is no reason. There is no reason Andre Johnson got it over Reggie Wayne.
Steve Smith Sr. too, didn't he? Didn't Steve Smith get in?
Put up their stats side by side. Tell me a reason why he got it.
Well, Andre,
without me doing it,
The quarterback?
who leads?
stop.
No. Without me actually looking it up, who leads in what? Like, is it
He leads in
is it Wayne over Johnson
Wayne over Johnson, I think,
and
except
everything?
for
Because I wouldn't think
one
so.
category.
Only reason why is because he had to share targets with Marvin Harrison for a good amount of time, where Andre Johnson really wasn't sharing targets with anyone. So I would figure his stats are above just
Right.
without
There's honestly
without
a
looking.
lot of
Without
great
looking.
running back or great receivers on the list. So,
And that's why I say wide
so
receivers so watered
so
down.
career
like,
wise, Reggie Wayne's got 1,070 receptions to Andre Johnson's 1,062. Andre Johnson has 14,185 yards. He's beating Reggie Wayne in yards.
I had to figure that.
Reggie Wayne's got 14,345.
Touchdowns?
Reggie's got
Wait, what?
82
What
touch.
did you just say?
He's got 14,345 yards to Andre Johnson's 14,185. So he's
Oh, you're
beating,
talking
he's
about-
beating Andre.
He's beating him in
Andre
yards.
82
Yeah.
touchdowns to 70 touchdowns, 13.4 yards per reception. They're tied there.
Yeah,
Um,
nah. If yeah,
211
yeah.
211
no
games
sense.
to 193
If
games.
you're
I was
doing that,
fine- I
if
was
you're
fine
doing
with-
that, sharing targets with Dallas Clark and Marvin Harrison,
Harrison.
you're right.
Bro.
You're right.
There was no reason why he got it. I was like, why is he like? Show me a reason why. Now, granted, yes, he played with.
He only says that because that's his cousin.
He is my literal cousin, by the way, too. What's up, cuz? Anyways,
He don't watch the show though.
no, you don't watch it. Listen, there is no reason why, but I can understand he got to go from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. Like he literally, those are his quarterbacks in his professional career. So he had a lot of guys.
I don't think that matters though.
What,
for him
the
to not
quarter-
get it.
No, I'm saying it really should play it. I don't think that should be a knock against you. I mean, I
he
can
had
only
a
I
good-
can only name one quarterback for Andre Johnson.
He had a good 10-year run. I mean, Reggie Wayne really did. I mean, 2003, 838 yards, and he went for 1,000 for 6 straight seasons, and then, or 7 straight seasons, 960, and then went for 1,300 again the following year. So I mean, he had a pretty good run for you to say that he deserves a nod. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt
And
about it.
he's a
I
Hall of
guess
Fame wide
what
receiver.
I'm thinking about is if Reggie Wayne's not in, who
Oh,
on
this-
the
this
who
other
on the
class.
all-time receiving list?
And what's funny, they
yards,
both came out
touchdown.
of Miami too, which I
yeah,
find
no,
is-
they're
were
both
on-
they're both
they were on the
Miami
same
fans.
same
team
draft
at one
class
point.
too.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Well,
Reggie came out 2 years
You can't
before.
wear, yeah.
Well, what I'm thinking is like who above them, as far, and that's why I'm saying receiver is so hard to get in. Who above them isn't in? Because there's
I'm
got
gonna
to be
name-
guys
I'm
who
gonna name these
have
guys
more
off.
yards, receptions, and all of that, touchdowns. Maybe that
Isn't
aren't,
in
that,
yet?
that aren't in also.
I'm gonna name these guys off.
So Steve Smith Sr. might be the only guy that's comparable.
Steve Smith Sr. is
He's got more
he's
yards.
on he's ineligible. He's eligible now. Demarius Thomas, Hines Ward is on here. Wes Welker,
Well,
Roddy White.
I'm even thinking go back further of guys who could possibly.
Hines Ward's only got him in touchdowns, 85 tugs. Boy, he went crazy.
Torrey Holt.
Torrey Holt.
Torrey
And
Holt's a
he's
dog.
he's not in, is he?
Joe. Yeah, these are all guys who are wide receivers.
These are guys that
eligible. There's 20
Brandon Marshall's currently on the list.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I think there's some guys who even put up better numbers than those guys that aren't
Muhammad,
in also.
Joe Horn, Chad
Johnson's
Johnson.
back up. He was eligible last year though.
Antonio
Johnson.
Freeman, Anquan Bolden, another slept-on receiver in my opinion.
Yeah.
Very slept-on receiver. Straight journeyman.
Yeah, he's
And he
good.
played for your Colts too.
He played a lot of places after
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
left
I think
Arizona.
was it Bolden and Fitzgerald. Woo.
That was-
Arizona, I think he
Yeah.
played in San Francisco, played in Indianapolis.
Baltimore for a little bit, right?
Damn, Hines Ward was born in South Korea. Didn't know that. Wow. 293rd overall pick, or no? What is this? That ain't right. 92nd overall pick. Got
Who's
picked up
that?
in the 3rd round. Hines Ward.
Hines Ward will make it.
All right, eventually.
That's
I just think it's harder than ever to make it as a wide receiver, and I think it's just what it is.
And then the tight end is actually pretty competitive right now. I mean, you got Vernon Davis, Antonio Gates, Jeremy Shockey, Delaney Walker. I mean, I don't know, the Ben Coates and Wesley Walls.
outside of Antonio Gates, I don't feel like any of those guys are even.
They're not gonna
close
get in
to-
immediately.
I don't think they're even close to being Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
honestly.
Takeo Spikes is eligible. Terrell Suggs is eligible. Teddy Bruschi, which I think he deserves a nod. Lance Briggs.
got some linebackers though. Terrell Suggs, Willis McGinnis.
Eric Berry's eligible.
Not a
Cam
Hall of Famer.
Chancellor. Cam Chancellor, I mean, I think for DBs it's very hard because it is very hard to have an elite career
because
as
your
a
counting
DB.
stats are
Yeah, like
super tough to get
like
at
and it's a
safety.
very tough position too. Charles Tillman, Darren Woodson,
I feel like Peanut Tillman, he's created a lot of turnovers that
yeah.
could.
Bob Sanders is eligible, Brandon.
He was eligible last year.
That
too.
was his guy.
Yeah,
up.
he
That
made it.
motherfucker-
He made it to the door
Antonio
knock
Cromartie.
last year.
Bullet Bob. Oh, they
He
knocked
made-
on his door.
No, they didn't.
No,
because
yeah, right.
Yeah, he made it to the door knock last. He was a finalist last year.
Now Josh
but-
Cribbs, I don't think he'll ever make it. That's crazy.
As a
Which I don't know if
returner.
they do the
If
door
if
knock
Hester doesn't make it as a returner, then I feel like there's not anyone.
kicker
Yeah,
Pat McAfee
he
is
no,
eligible.
He will never.
He
make
said
it.
he said he don't want it.
Hall of
Well,
Fame
he won't.
broadcaster.
He won't make it.
Hey,
It says
first of all,
20 finalists.
you do
will be
know he was the
presented to
punter of
full
the-
50-member Pro Football Hall of Fame selection. What?
you know that he was the punter of his decade.
Oh, okay.
He was voted punter of the 2010s. Like he was the punter of the decade.
I mean, if you
great.
make an all-decade team,
I mean, you make an
that's not
all-decade
that's
team,
not nothing.
that's pretty
all,
big.
all
That's not
decade,
nothing.
but we're talking like this is like the NBA 75. Did he make? Is he gonna make the 75 team? Like,
I think
Pat McAfee was a dope punter, bro.
Oh, he was great.
He was. I'm not just saying just for a show and all that stuff. He was actually really good. He was actually a really good punter. But
yeah, man. Shouts out to them
Hey,
guys, man.
you got Adam Vinatieri. You got Mike Vanderjagt, Adam Vinatieri, Pat McAfee. You got let me see. Do I know any of his other? Oh, David Akers. David Akers too.
Wow. So
idiot kicker.
only 7 I think get in each year. I didn't know that. Says finalists must receive at least 80% support from the selection committee to join the class of 2025. The modern era player finalists will be trimmed during the annual selection meeting from 15 to 10, then to 7, and the committee members will then vote for 5 of the 7 finalists.
They got a better selection than baseball has.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball.
Let me ask you this: Do you think?
400 and some people.
Do you think now that they'll that Pete Rose passed away, R.I.P. They'll let him in?
No.
I don't think. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna stand on
baseball
business.
is-
I think they're gonna stand on business.
Baseball is the most
Unfortunately.
like,
Which is crazy to me.
I hate. I'm starting to really truly hate. Listen, you and me both. We grew up in baseball minded. I'm starting to truly hate the traditionalists in baseball.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
really
it's
hating-
starting
Because
to
baseball
get-
is the only sport where you can make a mistake and it tarnishes your career. Tarnishes it. There's
Like-
several guys in the Hall of Fame right now that I'm pretty sure got popped for steroids at one point or another. In the NFL, NBA too.
Yeah.
Or got popped for something and it wasn't held against them. Gambling, whatever you want to call it. If Pat Mahomes tested positive for steroids or gambled and got suspended for 6 to 8 games, he is still going to the Hall of Fame. He's still going to go to the Hall of Fame.
There's no reason why.
Like he is.
Only reason why I'm not going to respond to that question is because I don't want any kind of
Well,
network.
yeah, no,
the narratives have already gone crazy.
Oh, yeah. They're probably now going to say he been gambling. What you mean?
There will be a fan who sees this who will dig into that now. They will. They
Yeah,
will.
man,
The steroids.
It's real crazy that Pat all of a sudden doing this. Like, hey, when he went into halftime and his ankle was hurt, he came back out and played.
Steroids.
I
don't want to go through that.
Baseball just it just makes me so angry, man. That they just even with the like now it's okay to celebrate in baseball.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta do it in the dugout.
Yeah.
Like, bro, people don't realize. Go stay up late one day, and if you have some kind of cable provider or you can get on the internet, go watch baseball in Japan. It's some of the funnest shit you would ever watch in your life.
Oh, some of him
They throw fucking
Latin
bats in the seat.
Latin American
If you go
baseball.
watch the Caribbean baseball World Baseball Series, like, bro, it's so fun because they don't
looks
have all
so
these
lit. It
traditional
looks so
rules
lit.
that we have.
and they're wondering why baseball. It's not a dying sport, but it's not.
It's just not where it needs to be.
It's not drumming
Exactly.
up what needs to be. And I'm sorry, but even like golf, for instance, I don't know if you're into golf. You're a little bit into it. I'm really into golf. I play a lot of golf. The President's Cup was the most entertaining thing to watch because you got to see golfers who are on the PGA Tour, buttoned up, nice and clean. They was talking they shit.
Yeah.
And that's entertaining. That's what fans want to see. Yeah, it's great that you hit a good shot. It's great that you got a hole in one. But, motherfucker, I want you to look at your opponent and talk that shit.
to him.
Talk that shit. And that's what baseball needs. And it happens every now and then. But it always leads to a fucking fight. It leads to a fight, or at least the guys in post game talking about that's classless. Nah, bro, talk your shit.
I think a little bit of it's balanced out because I mean you'll even see it as the division series just ended with for the Royals being in it. Lucas Erceg, I kind of caught it out of my corner of my eye. He was fired up. It looked like he was talking to someone as he was sending the Orioles home.
Yeah.
So I mean I don't know what happened or what transpired in that amount of time during those games, but I think you're starting to see that a little bit more where the pitchers after they get a big out, man, they're talking it too. They're talking it too. Not just a bat flip anymore, which that's kind of one sided.
I'm gonna stare you down,
Bro,
Right.
but for a long time, it's getting a little bit more even. Like they're starting to slowly let hitters get away with a little bit more without getting the fear of getting ear hold. But for the longest time, especially as a hitter, I would watch hitters do a bat flip or pimp a home run or whatever. Next thing, boom, you're hit.
Oh, facts.
But then a pitcher strike out, throwing their glove. I'm like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
But now it's getting a little bit even. I want to make it sound like baseball's not getting better. It's very slow, but it's getting better slowly.
Yeah. Two things I have on baseball. We can close this out. But I asked someone else the other day. There's two things. One thing I'm not opposed to it. I'm not for it. But hitting let's say Ohtani's 50-50 ball. The fact that he can't just fucking go in the crowd and get that is insane to me. I don't know why that bothers me so much, but I'm like, damn, dog. Now that the ball was hit out of play, it's anybody's fucking ball now. Bro, I can't go into the stands and get my fucking ball
No, you can't.
No.
Because that's $1 million baseball.
You know how much that ball is worth?
Well, I know, and I'm just saying
$1.2 million.
the simple fact. What would you?
If he wants to pay for it,
you saw the Mark McGwire thing, his 70th home run. Mark McGwire could have got his 70th home run ball, but he refused to meet a fan. That's all the fan wanted. The fan said they offered him a signed bat, they offered him a jersey and something else. And he was like, "Cool, I just want to be Mark." And Mark was like, "Nah, fuck that."
And none of that stuff is worth.
And he sold it for $3.2 million.
Yeah, none of that stuff was worth that much, man.
And then
I don't want none of that. I don't want to sign that unless you can go
sign
dig
the ball
up
and get
Honus Wagner.
Yeah.
And Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle. I don't want that.
No, Ohtani could just pay it.
I don't want.
You got a bag, dog.
You either give me that bag,
dip
or
into
this
that,
ball is going to the highest.
Dip
bidder.
into that deferred fund, dog. I know, and you ain't even got to dip into that. You got some money somewhere. You get to go holler at the translator. I know he made some money. And then my second question is, and I asked this to another group of baseball guys, and they had no problem with it. But I'm not the biggest baseball guy. And I don't know if I guess it's really not a advantage, or maybe it is to a degree in baseball. But why ballparks are not made the same? Why outfields are not consistent across the board? I think Boston plays with the shortest infield in Major League Baseball.
Shortest outfield.
Or outfield. I'm sorry, shortest outfield. And then I think maybe the Royals are pretty high up there as far as the longest.
They got one of the largest outfields. Yeah.
So what is is there an opinion on that, or is it
different style of play? Yeah. You don't want every team to be uniform, as you would kind of say. Yeah. And in that aspect, the Royals are like Brandon was talking about earlier in our Royals segment. I think just that style of play, it dictates because of what ballpark we play in. It's a Bobby Witt Jr. He may not be one of the best players at hitting the most home runs like an Aaron Judge, but every other aspect of hitting, it plays an advantage in our ballpark of Kauffman Stadium, where he can hit doubles, triples. Yeah. He can be the batting champion of the whole entire major league, hitting for the highest average in the entire major leagues. And it's just, you build teams different ways. The Yankees can go out and get those home run hitters because they got this short porch in left field, or right field, I'm sorry, and you can just hit that ball out easy. Yeah. So it's all that home field advantage.
That's fair.
Is what you want to play.
It makes you choose how you're going to play the game too. Yeah. I think especially in the playoffs, man, when it happens, especially when you go to a Yankee stadium and then the next 2 days later they're playing in Fenway, and that same hit that he hit, that double's not a double no more in Fenway. I think, and for the fan, I like it, dude. I like it a lot because, you hit that ball off that wall, and it's just I don't know, it's just something different. I personally don't mind it. I honestly wouldn't like every and how you do your personnel is differently too. Yeah. When I was in college, I played right field on our home games, and I played left field when we were away, because we played at T-Bone Stadium, which is they had a short porch in left field, so there was really no point for me to play. I was the fastest guy on the team. There's no point for me to play. Why are you going to put your fast guy in the shortest part of the park field? Right. That's the reason why man-around play left field also. That's usually a faster, more athletic guy plays that position than the right field line. But
dropping gems for the fans.
He said, "Why? There's no point in doing that, though." You know what I'm saying? But it plays into your personnel also, so too. So I think it's kind of fun.
For our local fans, if you're looking to, what you just broke down and like what you asked your questions about will absolutely be the key to if the Royals can get past our next opponent, which would be the Yankees.
Yeah.
That's what's going to give us the advantage to win games when we come back home. Is they're not going to be able to just slug home runs in Kauffman Stadium. They're going to have to maybe acquiesce to the way we play ball, move a runner instead of waiting on that 3-run home run.
Yeah.
That might be the difference in the series. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, y'all got anything else, man?
I just want to say I appreciate y'all, man, for having me on.
Hey,
this is fun. This is
shouts
great.
out to Jarvis. Jarvis is going to continue to be a friend of the show, host of the show going forward. Did a great job in his probationary period. We're going to go ahead and extend him out.
Salute.
We're gonna
Sign that
Salute.
contract.
Yeah.
Another black man off papers. I'll take it.
So, yeah, no, we appreciate y'all listening, man. It's great to be back in the studio, man. We'll catch y'all next week, and we'll move on.
All right.